WCBI News at 10 starts now.
A federal judge temporarily blocks Mississippi's heartbeat bill. Thank you for joining us tonight at 10. Well, that bill was set to take effect July the 1st. The heartbeat bill bans most abortions once a fetal heartbeat is detected. U.S. District Judge Carlton Reeves issued an order today to stop the law from going into effect. Mississippi is one of several states pushing to enact bans on early abortions. Some Mississippians, they may get the chance to vote in the upcoming statewide elections at a younger age than you might guess. Courtney Jackson explains how one group is working to engage those young voters.
When you think about the ages when certain things become legal, you likely associate voting with age 18. But did you know that in Mississippi, as long as you'll be 18 by the general election, you can vote in the primaries at 17.
That's huge, right? I think we went into one of the high schools earlier last month and talked to a group of juniors in high school, and they were like, you mean to tell me if I register to vote, I can vote in the primary election this year? And some of them who had already turned 18 as seniors talked about, you know, I could have voted in the midterm last year and didn't know it.
That's Erika Bennett, the executive director at Mississippi Votes. Through her work, she's finding that young people are more ready to cast a ballot than you may think.
And what I found was, in talking to young people, because people don't do that, is that literally all they need is information and resources, right? Because they're more politically astute than some of us are.
Mississippi Votes hosted voter registration drives last year, and they'll continue registering folks to vote. But the focus this year is also on education.
What we know is that people know whose name is on the ballot, but we don't know what they stand for.
The organization has created fellowships and ambassador programs to better engage that young voting demographic.
It's not that young people don't want to be involved, it's that there are limited opportunities for them to do so.
July 8th is the deadline to register to vote if you'd like to vote in the statewide primaries on August 6th. Courtney Jackson, WCBI News.
New developments today in the case of a former Oxford police officer accused of murder. Lafayette County Circuit Court Judge John Gregory denied bond for Matthew Kenny, who was arrested on Monday. Kenny is charged with murder in the death of Dominique Clayton. Clayton was found shot to death in her home Sunday. The city of Oxford has since fired Kenny. Clayton's family hired attorney Carlos Moore to look into her death. Moore says he's conducting an independent investigation. Kenny is being represented by attorney Tony Faris. Faris says he has met with Kenny at the Panola County Jail. He says his client is presumed innocent until proven guilty and is encouraging people to wait for the evidence before making any judgments. Faris is also opening his own investigation.
We want justice done, short and simple. And we want justice not only in the criminal arena, but if the facts warrant it, we want justice in the civil arena. That means holding the city of Oxford accountable.
Well, I certainly would encourage people to pray for the Clayton family and to give everyone time to mourn. It's traumatic for everyone involved, including my client's family. Gotcha. So Oxford's a wonderful city. It's a wonderful place. This is a very unfortunate situation, and we will all proceed accordingly.
A preliminary hearing could be next if Kenny requests one. Faris says he expects the case to go before the next grand jury. Switching gears now, time to get a first look at our Friday night forecast. We'll send things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. Hey there, Keith.
Hey Scott, lots of sunshine out there today. Warm temperatures, the setting sun right there in Louisville, Mississippi on our Friday as we get ready for a pretty nice and warm weekend. Most of us now cooling down into the 70s. The air is cooling on down, and most spots will likely dip down into the upper 60s here later on tonight. For your Saturday, low to mid 90s, as warm as 94, maybe 95 degrees. The heat index mid to upper 90s with a light southerly breeze, about 4 to 8. So a warm start to the weekend. Your full forecast got in just a few minutes.
Well, folks are fueling up for trips this Memorial holiday weekend. Right now, the average price for a gallon of regular gas in Mississippi and Alabama is $2.45. Now, that's down about 20 cents from this time last year. It's unclear if that's having any travel impact. Locally, many we talked to today say that they'll be spending the holiday close to home.
I plan to just relax, eat good food, and spend time with my family.
My plan for Memorial Day is working. That's all I'm going to be doing.
I'm going to be on a diet so I can be slim and trim for my wife. There you go. You got it, my friend.
I'm playing for Memorial Day, barbecue, play basketball, hang out with my friends.
Well, it's my anniversary today, so we're going out to eat tomorrow. And then my daughter that just walked over there, she's graduating. So.
So you got a anniversary and a
graduation, and it's my family reunion. So.
We're gonna do a lot of cooking. We always cook on Memorial Day. Ribs, might do some chicken, hot dogs, smoked sausage, baked beans, tater salad, slop, any kind of stuff like that.
My plans is to enjoy family, grilling, maybe go out of town, just to have fun.
I'm going wherever those ribs are, I can tell you that. All right, AAA says that the highest gas prices in our viewing area are in Noxubee County, and the lowest can be found in Prentiss County. Memorial Day weekend also means that more motorcyclists are hitting the streets. A nationwide study by Quote Wizard says Mississippi has been the most dangerous state for bikers. The study found that in 2017, 40 motorcyclists died in the Magnolia State during accidents. CBS affiliate WJTV talks to riders about how this can be fixed.
Not only a way of transportation, motorcycles are livelihoods and lifestyles, but sometimes not respected on the road.
Motorists aren't looking for motorcycles to be used in the roadway. People are looking for a large vehicle, and they wind up taking a quick glance, change lanes, and it's directly over on top of a motorcycle.
And all it takes is one simple tap by a car to a bike, and the cost can be deadly.
If you merge over in a motorcycle's lane and bump that motorcycle in any kind of way, then you can send it off the road and cause a very serious accident.
The study found for every 10,000 registered bikers in the state of Mississippi, nearly 15 died in 2017 from being hit on the road. So motorcyclists urge the public to remember, even behind these handlebars is also a life.
They do have different features in vehicles now, the side scanners and stuff, but it doesn't always pick up a motorcycle. You always have to do a head check before changing lanes, no matter what vehicle you're in.
The bikers use hand signs. There are several hand signs for the bikers to use if they're getting over, if they're getting ready to turn. We're hoping that the community, the car drivers, will also start learning those signs as well.
Local motorcyclist Keith Ferguson knows the reality of these harsh stats all too well. After being hit while riding, it took him 4 months just to walk again.
I was T-boned by a car riding to Orlando. I had a fractured femur and tibia and a C2 and a T6 fracture and a head trauma and a broken wrist.
The bikers also say the common space you should keep between you, your bike that is, and a car is a 5-second time frame. And as always, when you're on the road, put down the cell phone.
Summery weather here across the deep south right now, widespread 70s. Big time storms rumbling here across the high plains. They're not coming our way. We have more heat to get through for the holiday weekend. More on that after the break.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Tons of sunshine as we start the holiday weekend. Here's your Saturday planner. Mostly sunny to partly cloudy by 1 o'clock, already 90. By 9, probably in the low 80s in many spots. 94, the forecast high. That's the target for our Saturday. Pushing 100 here in parts of Alabama for Saturday as we get into your Sunday. Notice that the numbers really aren't changing too much, and as we get into Monday too, widespread sun, mid to upper 90s. Warmest here in southeastern Alabama, maybe a little bit cooler back to the south and west, but in general, a pretty warm weekend around here. Moisture continues to build, lots of humidity here across the southeastern U.S. Now it's going to be muggy, we know that, the heat index mid to upper 90s, but rain chances will be fairly low, basically zero, through the middle of next week. Now, we've had a lot of rain this year. If it stops raining, if it never rains again, we would have above average rainfall for this year. Those numbers would continue to be above average through August 26th in Columbus, September 14th in Tupelo, and October 9th in Starkville. So that just shows you how wet it's been. No rain in the forecast in the near term, though. That's good news for your outdoor plans this weekend. Vernon, Tupelo, Columbus, Louisville. The sun going down this evening after a very warm afternoon. Notice these storms rumbling here across the high plains, weakening a little bit. but still producing a lot of rain, more flooding out there, more severe weather out there, not only tonight, not only this weekend, but probably for several more days next week too, all the way from the Great Lakes snaking back down into the western high plains. And all of that will avoid our area. We have high pressure down here at the surface. There it is, also aloft, and that will just keep us cooking under all of that sunshine. We still are not even into the dead of summer yet, but we're getting a jump start on that with high pressure and firm control of our weather. You really have to get all the way down to the water to get any natural relief. It's going to be pretty warm around here. Speaking of that, maybe you're going down to Destin. Look at this, upper 80s to around 90. Winds from the south, so that will be an onshore flow, and that will at least give folks down there a brief cool down. Low to mid 90s across our region tomorrow. You can see it with our city by city forecast. Winds from the south at about 4 to 8. So there you go, a warm start to the weekend. Here's your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. We're keeping it dry through Tuesday. Can't rule out some isolated showers and storms possible, maybe as early as Wednesday.
They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. When we come back, we meet a man speaking volumes. Welcome back, everyone. Kendrell Daniels is a man of few words, but what he puts down on canvas speaks volumes. The teen gained national recognition after he painted a picture for former MSU and current Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott. Our Quentin Smith catches up with Daniels to find out about his unique paintings and his singular style.
Every brushstroke is free-flowing. Every detail is fluid, and every painting is flawless. When Kendrell Daniels paints a picture, he paints with a purpose.
I get to express myself because I don't really talk much, so I don't really get out and do stuff. So
his canvas allows him to be himself.
Some stuff don't have to be perfect. Just put what you feel.
All artists have their own perspective, but Kendrell has his own technique. See, instead of using his hands, he uses his feet.
I don't really look at it like I have a disability. I just do it.
Kendrell first developed his passion for painting at Mississippi State's T.K. Martin Center. However, he admits it wasn't love at first sight.
Yeah, when I first came, I really didn't. It looked hard and I kind of didn't like it, but when I started coming back, I loved it.
The 19-year-old says he enjoys painting motivational quotes, animals, and anything sports-related. Through his artwork, Kendrell has now developed a close relationship with NFL quarterback Dak Prescott. In fact, it was Kendrell's artwork that inspired a pair of cleats that Prescott wore this past season.
For one side of the shoe, I did like for a varsity screen, and I did the colon cancer sign for cause his mom died of colon cancer, I believe. Yeah, and the other shoe was all the names of other painters that paint here.
The quiet, soft-spoken Kemper County native has now blossomed into an inspirational figure. He says he'll continue to use his artwork, his story, and his perseverance to serve as motivation for people all across the world.
A lot of people walk up to me and tell me they know me and they ask for my paintings on my social media and stuff like that. People tell me I inspire them. Some people do need motivation, you know. I do, it's motivation me for people to say I inspire them, so kind of go both ways.
Kendrell is a sophomore at East Mississippi Community College. From there, he wants to attend MSU and major in graphic design. Ole Miss able to survive another day and advance to the SEC tournament semifinals. Highlights from today's game coming up next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Courtney Robb.
A comeback victory is always great, but guaranteed nobody loves a comeback win right now more than Ole Miss. The Rebels trailed the Hogs for almost the entirety of the elimination game, but it was in the 8th inning where the team's persistence became the key. Let's get to the diamond where the Rebels and the Hogs are fighting it out in a double elimination battle in Hoover, Alabama. Top of the second, 2 outs. Gunnar Hoagland starting on the mound for Ole Miss strikes out Jack Kenley to send it to the bottom of the frame. The top of the 4th, Hogs bring in the heat. 1 runner on. Matt Goodhart launches it deep to center. Goes right over the wall. A 2-run homer to give Arkansas a 2-run lead. The bottom of the 5th inning with 2 outs. Kevin Graham summoning some power of his own to knock it out of the park. A solo home run cuts the Hogs lead right in half. The bottom of the 8th inning, this is where everything changes. Thomas Dillard with an RBI single into center, and Cooper Johnson puts the Jets on to race home and tie the game up at 2 apiece. And then the next batter is going to be Craig Kessinger. He hits the shot out into center field, and with that, Ole Miss acquires its first lead of the game, and that would be all that they needed. The Rebels survived to advance 3-2 the final over the Hogs. Head coach Mike Bianco talks about the importance of staying persistent after the game.
Our takeaway the last few games is as bad as maybe the production or the results have been, the guys have hung in there. And there's been other times in the years where we haven't hung in there. There's been times where we just get shut out and lose, or we lose a close game. We've been able to hang in there, not just to be able to do what you said, to be able to, get a timely hit like Thomas did today, but be able to keep the game intact on the mound and defensively to where you have that opportunity.
I think he might have the best fastball in the country. I mean, he has electric stuff, and I think he's blown it by me a few times in college. So, if anything, I was going to pull it into their dugout. I wasn't going to be late. So he ended up throwing one under the zone. And, with his ride on his fastball and his backspin, when it's up, it's really, really good. So luckily I got a pitch down and happened to put a good swing on it.
Well, Ole Miss advances to the semifinals and will be playing Georgia tomorrow early afternoon. But how about those Diamond Dogs? Let's get back to Hoover, where Mississippi State and LSU must be saying long time no see to each other in their second meeting of the tourney. Things really heating up in the 3rd inning of this game. LSU able to put 5 runs on the board, while MSU could come back and answer in the same frame with 2 runs from Jake Mangum and Rowdy Jordan. But the Tigers' offense completely explodes in the 4th inning of the matchup. LSU tacks on 7 more runs. You heard me correctly. 7's that lucky number. They take a 12-2 lead over the Bulldogs, and MSU simply could not match that kind of production. MSU falls to LSU in their second meeting in the tourney, 12-2. Mississippi State won't return to Starkville SEC champions, but we'll look ahead to the NCAA tournament on the horizon. Mississippi State competing in Orlando, Florida in the 2019 NCAA doubles and singles tennis tournament. The Bulldogs competing in both the singles and doubles tournament earlier today. Nuno Borges, the star of the day as he advances to the finals after taking down his Texas Christian University opponent. The win marks his 31st straight victory and is set to play South Carolina's Paul Jubb on Saturday in his first career final.
I'm still absorbing it a little bit. I feel like it just literally came out of the court. Yeah, it's very rewarding. A lot of people supporting me, and I've come all the way this far. It's great. Every match is so hard. I could have lost to anybody on this tournament and vice versa. So I just try to take it one match at a time, know my opponent as much as I can, and apply the game plan. And I've been successful that way, and that's how I intend to keep going.
Ole Miss competing in the Arizona Super Regional had its first game this evening. The Rebels end up falling to the Wildcats with a final of 5-2. Game 2 of the 3-game series will be tomorrow at 7 p.m. You can also watch it on ESPN2. That's it for sports. The last look at your weather is coming up after the break. Stay with us.
The weekend is here, Scott. Pool weather for you.
Yep.
Air conditioning weather for most of us. But it will be a great weekend to be outdoors.
It's going to be a good weekend. Summer is here.
It is.
Officially. This is a weekend I know many people mark as the unofficial start of summer. So
It felt kind of lazy today, even though it was a work day. Lazier tomorrow.
Sounds good. Thanks, Keith. Thanks for watching. See you Monday.